When I first started to do the work I was doing, I was thinking, well, I'll try that. I'll have a go at it. And then some ecologists and that, I got one, rang me up one day, he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm doing it this way and that. You'll get egg on your face doing that. Well, I said, well, I'm just trying. I'm not really worried if I get egg on my face. But it was though they were so reserved, they wouldn't go and have a go at something to see if it worked or it didn't work, you know. It was quite funny. I'm still trying things, you know. Even small squares, I think, I'll just try that. I'll just have a go and see what happens to it, you know. Yeah, okay. My name's Geoff Eyre. I live in the Peak District in Derbyshire, and we're up on the area I call Abney Moor, which I managed to purchase in 2012. I got into the moorland work really. I'm a farmer, but I'm also an agronomist with my own business. So over my lifetime I've been doing crop advice in the early days on corn crops and things like that. And then I moved back to the business, and it's mainly grassland area, moorland. Abney Moor itself is about 800 to 900 acres, and I was looking after the heather side of it. There was about 400 acres of heather, but I was looking after that for the previous owner, burning it and managing it. But there was also 400 acres of bracken. So that was the first plant I started to look at to try and reduce the bracken on the moor itself.
And how did you go about tackling the bracken? What were the first steps?
Well, I've been doing quite a lot of moorland work over the last 30 odd years, mainly controlling Molinia grass and putting that back to heather. So I got the equipment. I got a soft track with a 20-metre sprayer on it. So it was quite easy to start spraying some of these bank sides with that machine. One of the things that came out of that was my neighbour had set fire to some bracken in the winter, and everybody knows if you burn bracken, it comes back more bracken. But because he burnt it, it grew ever so well. And I sprayed it then, and I got a fantastic kill. But the bonus was when we started putting seed on, the seed germinated far better where we'd burnt it. And the problem was basically bracken is an allopathic plant in that it inhibits the germination of other seeds. It's a bit like sunflowers and lavender, or even oats do that. Burning was the crucial part of getting the other habitat back in its place. We're just parked on the top of this hill here, and then we're looking across onto the far hill in the distance. And this is a photograph that was taken from a helicopter, and you can see all that far hill was all bracken, nardus and rush. So there was no heather on that far hill at all when I first started in 2012. Well, now it's all mixed heath, heather, bilberry, crowberry. There's about 30 or 40 different species of plant easily, and I've grown a load of sphagnum on the wetter areas down in the bottom. So it's very diverse, and that's the area that's carrying a hell of a lot of skylarks now. In 1988 there was a new scheme came into this area called the ESA scheme, Environmental Sensitive Area. And this was the Nature Conservancy Council at the time were concerned we'd lost 40% of the heather in the Peak District since during the war. I mean, obviously a lot was being ploughed up. So they were trying to grow heather on a grass called Molinia. So I thought, well, can I have a go at that? You know, I thought, well, I'll put my agricultural background into it. So then I started to cut Millennia, and then in the end I got to spray Millennia and burn it, and then I needed the heather seed to cover the area. So I developed a small harvester for a start, which took a lot of, it took a lot of time to get the seed, and then over the years we kept developing heather seed collectors. This is the latest machine that we developed with an engineering friend of mine. I think we've got it virtually right for these sort of conditions. It works really well. What I've done in some ways is copied an offset mower, a trailed offset mower. I did get that beam off an offset mower. So basically, it tows behind me, but when we're harvesting, I'll put it to the side so that I'm not running in what we're going to harvest. 4 brushes to take the seed off, and then I run it through, tape taken down, I run it through what is like a pre-cleaner, which are a load of discs going in opposite directions to stop any branches going through, so the seed goes through a series of rotors. So I get a good clean product of seed then. The seed comes with a little bit of trash, and not a lot, and then that'll be taken back to the farm and put on the floor to dry, so it dries naturally, and then we start to clean it on the machines we've got down at the farm. So basically I just drop these bags off by just moving the lever, and I'll leave them on the moor whilst I'm harvesting, and I'll come back the next day with the trailer and just take them off. When I've harvested that seed off the moor, it comes in, we put it onto the drying floors, and then I'll bring it in with a load in, and I tip the heather in here as a raw material, and then that's got an auger that feeds into 2, what I've made is like 2 rotating brushes, like they rub the seed to try and get the seed out of the flower. So then that goes through there, through the machines there. It'll come into my mixer. Basically I just use that as a to carry the heather, so that I can let it feed onto the sieve deck. I can make it feed exactly at the right speed. So that will start to clean some of the trash off, and then it goes through into the next auger, which takes it into another cleaner, which it gets it even finer. And I've got down to a 300 micron sieve to get the pure seed out. So then when I've got the seed, you've got the flowers that I've cleaned. So those flowers you saw on the moor, I've cleaned them, and basically in those flowers there could be still some seed left in the flower. There can be anything up to 10 seeds in a flower. So basically that might have some seed in it, but when I've got this pure seed out of the 300 gram, the 300 micron sieve, I've got I know exactly how much seed I've got then, and on a calculation, when you get it pure, you can have probably something like 25,000 seeds per square gram. So once I've got that figure, I know how much seed I've got, then I know how much seed to put to the hectare. And I'm looking for probably putting 2,500 seeds to the hectare. So then I can then mix it back with the flowers to put it on through I put it on through an air jet machine. We've also hung the air jet machine under a helicopter, and the helicopter pilot now, he can seed with an 18-metre boom underneath. He can do 120 hectares an hour, and in actual fact that works out far cheaper than a tractor. I think the way I've looked at it is on an agricultural basis and scale. When you start moving up into a landscape scale, you can do a plot by hand, you can do it, but when you start wanting to get a landscape effect, then you've got to tool up the machines to do those sort of acreages. So, in the moorland scene, there wasn't there was not many machines, you know, designed to come in the hillsides at the time. So, you know, developed bits of kit to fit on my soft tracks I used to run.
Why is
Well, if you look back when they decided they wanted heather recovering, you know, the meetings were saying they contain 40 different species of moths, butterflies. It was quite encouraging to say how much lived in heather compared to other plants. So, you know, it is an important plant in this country, you know, and I think what I've done here is not just grow heather, I've grown 30 different other species to go with it. This was a fire about 3 years ago, and what I've been doing on these fires, this moor was basically a Curlew vulgaris moor, and that's one variety of heather. So what I did, I started to introduce Erica tetralix, which is this one, and so every time we burn, I was coming and putting a variety of other seeds in to try and get it more biodiverse, as they said, because it was like a monoculture heather. So now I've got it into a mixed heathland. I've got bilberry, Erica tetralix, Curlew, and then if we walk further on, I can show you where we've been doing Erica cinerea planting. But you know, this is a dry moor. It shouldn't really be growing Erica tetralix, but it is doing.
How often will you burn these areas, Geoff?
This will be burnt in another 2 years' time, because what I wanted to do this moor is probably one of the only ones in the Peak District that's burnt on a rootstock regeneration. So when I burn it, because it's young heather, it will regrow the first year and even flower. So I'm not having any fallow. It's a green moor. It'll always be green. I mean, you can look round. We've burnt a lot, but it's not black, is it? It's still green. It's greened up this year, which is different to what across the UK. What there's not many. They won't allow this on an SSSI. So SSSIs don't have this. They've lost this. They don't get this diversity. Well, going on the heather, that you know, when I first started, I was managing to grow heather where they said you couldn't grow it, and then that caught on. Other people kept asking me, could I look at other areas, and oh my, I've got thousands and thousands of acres I've spied seed for that's growing heather now. And the one thing that was so outstanding was that when you're going in bracken, you might see the odd bird, odd windchat, occasional ring ouzel. Very little lived there, you know, in the dense bracken, you know. And then on the Molinia was exactly the same. We did a bird count on the Molinia on one big area, and I think there was about 6 birds counted by the RSPB and natural. It was English Nature at the time. And when we'd finished growing the variety, it just exploded. You couldn't count the skylarks; they were too numerous to count. The pipits were too numerous to count. White hares came back, and I've got a graph of what happened. It was just outstanding. It was like a 400 or 500 increase in wildlife. A lot of people don't know what's been going off, really. Individuals have gone and done it themselves. And I've got enthusiasts all over the country that are still doing what I'm been doing. You know.